Hello, good afternoon, evening, morning, whenever you find yourself to watch this. Of course, joined by me as always is my good friend Jackson, but we have two new faces in our new partnership as well. I shouldn't say new because you'll get quite familiar with them. We have Coach Grove and Coach Williams, the masterminds behind the new All-Star game, the HBCU Pigskin Showdown, which played its first game on December 19th of 2021. And boy, do we have a dandy of a show for you coming up. We got three players, not one, not two, but we have three players coming up to talk to us and just discussing the rush of the draft. Of course, the draft season is now, as Jackson loves to tell me, with the combine and stuff. But guys, I'm happy to be here. Any opening thoughts before we get the guests on?
Well, I mean, for me, first of all, I mean, we're just excited to have you guys joining with us to do this. I mean, we wanted to do something to shed some light on these to further shed some light on these HBCU prospects, and try to bring a little bit of extra exposure to them, and also bring a little extra exposure to what we've got going down in Selma and Marion. So we excited to have everybody, and looking forward to show number one.
Omar, it's always draft season, right? But hey, we just pay more attention to it around this time of year. Man, all three of these guys can play, right? And maybe didn't get the exposure they deserve being at HBCUs. But hey, hopefully we can shed a little light on them. And hey, hopefully see some of these guys come preseason.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I mean, not just preseason, but we got the USFL coming up in the Spring Football Wars, which I am an ardent USFL supporter at the moment, and Jackson's Team XFL. So it's not over if you don't make it to the league. I mean, we've seen great success stories from the AAF and the XFL, and Taylor Heineke, and PJ Walker. So it's not over, if you don't make the league right away.
That would be absolutely correct, Omar. And that's one of the biggest things we want to stress to exposing these kids to opportunities, that they actually take a look at all of them. Everybody that plays football wakes up and, the NFL is the dream, but professional sports, it is what it is. And there's valuable places to be outside the NFL if you don't make it there. So it's not over. So the grind continues, right?
CFL, Arena, FCF, USFL, XFL coming up next year, man. There's plenty of opportunities outside the league. So, and you can always jump back into the NFL opportunity. So definitely Exactly. Something that all these guys will be playing ball for a little bit.
Absolutely correct.
So I guess without further ado, are we ready to introduce our first guest?
Yes. Let's get him in
All
here.
right. So our first guest is a quarterback with an electric tape. There he is, a quarterback with an electric tape out of first Texas Tech and now Hampton, which I don't want to ruffle any feathers, but it is an HU. Whether it's a real HU, they proved it on the field this year. Next year, Howard might be the real HU, but we don't know. We have Jett Duffy joining us. Before we start, Jett, I got to say, I ran into you at the HBCU Pigskin Showdown this year. You signed a picture for my 11-year-old brother. Thank you for that. He enjoys it. It's hanging on his wall next to his bed.
I love it.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Oh yeah, no worries.
So yeah, I'll take the first question because I'm not the expert here, and then hand it off to my draft experts. But Jett, the first thing that came to mind is you playing with Texas Tech in Cliff Kingsbury's scheme.
Mm-hmm.
How similar was that scheme to Hampton's scheme that the Pirates ran this year?
So to the base of it all, at the end of the day, it's all air raid. Both offenses were, air raid offenses. I've been in it since about high school, so I've seen a whole bunch of different variations. Coach King and Coach Patterson, they both have their own spins on it, because with the air raid offense, there's so many things that you can do. You can play all different types of football, but I mean, all in all, it just depends on your personnel and what works best with your offense. I want to say with Coach Patterson, a lot of RPOs, a lot of run game. We had a very dominant run game. Our O-line did a great job. Our running backs did a great job, so we couldn't exclude them out of the game. And then because the run game was so dominant, we had a lot of RPOs, a lot of play actions, a lot of different things that we could take advantage of. Coach Kingsbury, he's more of a guy that likes game plan heavily. You know, like he'll go in and he'll see, he'll go watch the latest NFL games from the week. Then he'll watch the teams that we're getting ready to play, you know, and then, you know, he may take some plays from some other teams. He may take a play from us, a play from another team, combine it. You know, he does all kinds of different things. So, you know, that's just the difference between those two offenses.
I mean, that's great to hear, honestly, because we think air raid, we think about like, you know, Mike Leach, Cliff Kingsbury, and we just think throw all the time. But hearing that part about the run game, it's interesting. And I remember watching, I'm sure most people who know about your career at Hampton watched the Truth and Service Classic, out at Audi Field on NBC Sports Network, and saw how powerful your team's run game was in that game. I mean, heck, I think your backs are still running out in DC. So, no, that's great to hear, Jeff. So, Jett. So, I guess we'll go down the line, starting with Coach Grove, and then down to Coach Williams, Coach and Jackson. So I guess we'll go down the line with the questions that each of you guys have.
Yeah. Hey, Duffy, how you doing, brother?
Good.
Go ahead, Coach.
Let's see you.
Go ahead, Coach.
Duffy. Had some brief time with you, man. My question is going to be around opportunity, man, and I just want to hear, you know, from an athlete who's competing and dreaming of getting to the NFL and playing professional sports. When you received the invitation, you know, that arrangement was made to attend our event, what was your thought process initially?
Honestly, I was thankful, you know, just being a part of the HBCU culture in general has been an amazing experience, you know, not only on the field, but off the field. And just being able to, like, I had a huge smile on my face, you know, just being able to be a part of, you know, the very first HBCU specific all-star game, you know, that's a blessing, you know, and just to be able to be at the front of that change, you know, it was honestly a blessing, you know. Also on top of it, an opportunity, you know, got to do some really good things in front of a lot of scouts, and at the end of the day, all you can ask for is opportunity in this game, you know.
Exactly. I guess the second part of that question is scout related. So when you made it to the area and you walked into measurements, what did that feel like, you know, actually seeing 16 teams on the ground, and what did that feel like to you, the initial walk into the door?
That in itself was a good experience, you know, like just that was my first, besides, you know, NFL teams coming to practices and, you know, pre-camp and all of that, you know, it's just, that was my first experience with the draft. You know, that was my first time stepping in front of the scouts, and in my mind, that was the time that it clicked, you know, like, okay, my journey is beginning for this spring, you know. So it was nice. It was nice.
That's awesome. Appreciate you, brother.
I guess I'm gonna pop in there next, Jett. I mean, first of all, thanks for coming and helping us out here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, my thing, man, is you know, just in those coaching. I mean, us being former scouts and coaches. I mean, there was a lot of buzz that was starting to happen around your name, you know, right as we were starting to meet you. I mean, there was a lot of people that were, you know, hey, Jett Duffey. We were hearing it. I mean, we were getting it from your representation. And that buzz not only went through our game, but it also, you know, got you. I think, you know, that buzz was already there that created that opportunity for you at the HBCU combine. You know, for you to go to that combine, and there were only 38 kids. I mean, for you to get into that game as one of 38 guys shows you what that buzz level has been about you. So I guess I would ask you, what were you trying to prove when you were taking off towards the combine? What was it that you wanted teams to know about you?
My biggest thing, I had two big things going into it. One, I just wanted teams to know me. You know, I just wanted them to know Jett Duffey. I wanted them to understand that I'm not Jett Duffey the quarterback, I'm Jett Duffey the man, you know, and I wanted them to know that. I wanted them to see who my parents have raised. I wanted them to see that through my actions and through my words, see that in my eyes. Then also, I just wanted to go out there and just be me, you know, take advantage of the opportunity, not think too much about it, not think about it really at all. Just think about it during my preparation, everything that it took in order to maximize my opportunity. So honestly, I just wanted to go there and have fun. At the end of the day, just be relaxed and just be thankful that this opportunity is sitting in my lap, and not overlook it with wishing that things go my way. I just wanted to go God's way. So
Absolutely, absolutely right. I think you did that. And I think you turned a lot of heads, and I think we all gonna see that around draft time. How many heads you turn?
Hey, hopefully we'll see.
Yeah, we're gonna see. We're gonna see you. You definitely gonna get some opportunities, no doubt about that. My next thing to you, I mean, as a former scout, I mean, we love comparisons and we love to compare guys to guys. So I got to ask you, I mean, who would you pattern your game? Who do you compare yourself to as a quarterback? I mean, who do you think we're looking at when we're looking at you?
Man, like it's I'm still trying to figure that out, honestly, myself, because I've based my game around so many different players, like so many different people I've watched and taken little things from, just to the combine to who I am. But if I had to compare myself to a quarterback, it would honestly be Russell Wilson, besides the size factor and all of that, just who he is intellectually, it's just him. Like he's a very passionate man, he's a God-fearing man. At the end of the day, he's somebody that you can place in any room, and everyone, when he walks out of that room, will respect him, and not because of who he is or the name, or anything like that, just because of the respect and the energy that he gives off whenever you meet him. So,
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Who are you training with? I'll just throw in one more question. Who are you training with?
Currently, my quarterback coach is Craig Nall. He played in the league for a few years.
Yeah.
And
West
also,
Texas A&M, I think, right? West Texas A&M.
no,
went to West
yep, yep.
Yep.
And then I forgot where else he went. He's from Louisiana though, but he played for the Packers. Played
Yep.
for the Packers for some years. Yep. But I've been there training at Michael Johnson Performance Center out there in North Dallas. Speed training in Alito. Like I've been all over. Just getting to it.
Absolutely. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. All right, Jackson, I'm talking over you, man.
Oh, no problem, Coach. Jett, first of all, thanks so much for coming on, being so generous with your time. You have had a benefit that a lot of these guys that maybe come from HBCUs, not all of them have had an NFL talent of a head coach, right? In Cliff Kingsbury, one of your years at Texas Tech. How did you feel that was? How has that maybe most benefited you as you're preparing for the NFL draft process?
I feel like, I feel like a lot of the things that I learned from him and a lot of the lessons that I received from him came later on. It came around this time, around about a year and a half ago. Basically, I had a more mature mind, more mature kind of grasp of everything that was going on around me than I had when I first met him. So it was great for a lot of things to come to me, during this time that's going to help me, throughout my whole process, both on the field and off the field. So it's pretty great.
Absolutely. I mean, any edge you can have throughout this process is certainly a benefit. You've got a big one in being with Coach Kingsbury. Another question: you have been at a Power 5 school in Texas Tech, and you've been at an HBCU. How do they compare as far as environments, competition, and all that? You've one of the few men that's been in both. You tell me.
Right. All in all, at the end of the day, it's football. Great talent. At the end of the day, we can't ignore the resources, but at the same time, it's just being at especially my HBCU, I can't speak for all. I had everything that was needed to be a top Division I athlete. Really at the end of the day, like I said earlier, it's about taking advantage of opportunities. a guy can have a solid gold 20-pound bar, and another guy can have a copper crusted 20-pound bar, but they're both 20 pounds at the end of the day. You know what I mean? So like it's ball. It's working. It's taking advantage of your opportunities. It's getting yourself to the place that you want to be. I mean, you know, you could think about what someone else has all you want, but I mean, that stuff don't matter. So what I will say is that I didn't see any change. Honestly, I did see some kind of change, mainly with the speed of the D linemen. You know, they were a lot faster and a lot more athletic than I assumed them to be. You know, especially just watching film before coming into the season. But there was a lot of guys, a lot of D linemen that were very, very talented, and I was very impressed and very thankful to be able to compete against them. Mm-hmm.
I think HBCUs have a little bit of a tradition with some defensive linemen in the league over the past.
Right.
So I'm sure you're not the first quarterback to experience
Right.
that. Jett, I guess one final question for you. I don't know if you've kept up much on Instagram and all that, but maybe a little drama with Kyler and the Cardinals. Cliff reached out to you.
Mm-hmm.
Can we expect to see you there?
Oh man, shoot! I hope to see me wherever they're gonna pay me the most. You know, at the end of the day. So you know, it's just hey, you know, I love to be in a great environment. I love to reconnect with my old head coach. You know, but yeah, I don't know any much about what they got going on there.
Hey, we'll see. Maybe if Kyler takes his Instagram posts off again, maybe we'll see you up there, right? So,
maybe.
Thanks so much for coming on, Jett.
I appreciate y'all.
Thank you very much. We wish you nothing but the best, young man. You're gonna be just fine.
Thank you. Y'all have a blessed one.
Yep.
Thank you, Jett. Have a great night.
You too, bro.
Well, I mean, Jackson, that was really spicy way to end that. In terms of Cardinals talk, but I think that'll be a little bit more of a discussion too, in terms of where we expect Jett to land and what kind of fit he would be with certain teams. So I guess we'll welcome on our next guest, a man who is probably, I guess, the best product to come out of Fayetteville since one Jermaine J. Cole. We got Elvin De La Rosa, great defensive back for Fayetteville State. I don't know if you caught what I just said, Elvin, but I said that you're the best product. Okay, just making sure. Just want to make sure you got that shine. So I'll begin with my question, then pass it on to my experts. Defensive backs about swagger. As we all know,
Definitely.
Deion Sanders. You name it. Is there a defensive back that you model your game off of? Do you base your game on like trash talk or anything?
It's plenty a lot of players. I would probably say Jalen Ramsey. You know what I'm saying? Just his aggressiveness, his play style, his physicality in the field. Like, and I see his passion every time I watch him play. So I could definitely see myself like comparing myself to Jalen Ramsey because I had the same tenacity in the field. Like I just let loose when I'm on that field. I'm a quiet person. I like off the field, but when I'm in that field, like I let loose. I express myself. Definitely a trash talker. Definitely when I'm in that mode.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to hear. I mean, because Jalen Ramsey, first off, not a bad, as we all know, not a bad corner to compare oneself to. But trash talking corners make the game more fun. As we all know. So I'll kick it to Jackson. We'll do a snake, almost like a fantasy football draft. We'll just snake around each time. So Jackson, we'll start off with your questions for Elvin.
Absolutely, Elvin. Thanks so much for coming on. First of all,
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. One thing I wanted to ask you: you got an opportunity to go to the HBCU Combine and work out in front of many, right? I'm curious. You benched 21, and if you're looking at the prototypical defensive back right now in the league, average is just about 15. How do you feel that strength is something that will benefit you a lot when you go up to the next level?
I want to say yes and no. I say yes and no just because weightlifting is just lifting. You know what I'm saying? You gotta, at the end of the day, you gotta put the pads on and be skillfully like good to play football on the field. You know what I'm saying? Weight room is the weight room. But 21 benches, I definitely feel like I'm up there with the guys in the NFL right now.
No doubt about that.
Absolutely. Hey, well, strength is certainly never a bad thing to have, right? So definitely something that'll be useful. Elvin, man, I've been so impressed watching your highlights with a lot of how quick you get in the backfield, your recognition. How much film study are you doing, man? Because you just like flew off the tape a lot of times in your recognition. And of course, you've got the athleticism and the burst to close in on it.
That man, I'm a film junkie for sure. Like I love watching film. I'm watching film when I'm walking to class, when I'm in the cafeteria. I'm watching practice film, just trying to get better. I feel like the week starts off with you watching film. You got to know your opponent. You got to know what you're facing the week of, and it makes me knowing what's going on helps me help my teammates. It makes us play faster as a unit.
Hey, if you don't have to think, you can play fast, right? And you don't
Yes,
have
sir.
to think if you watch enough film. And man, it was so obvious on the tape. I was very impressed. So man, good job
Just
on
off recognition.
That's right. I'm gonna piggyback off Jackson. And if you had another question, Jackson, please ask it. But I'm gonna piggyback off of that. I mean, from watching your tape, Elvin, man. I mean, first of all, I gotta tell you, I mean, we talked about you at our event, man. You were one of the guys that walked through the door, man, all about business. Looked like you were ready to make a move and trying to get some people to recognize who you were. I mean, we were talking about you from the day we met you, and just really, really enjoying watching your journey through this whole thing, man. I think you're gonna find yourself playing on Sundays without a doubt. But my question to you is watching that tape, man. I mean, I believe this is me as a former coach and scout. I mean, I believe I'm looking at when I'm watching your tape, man. I think I'm watching one of the most physical tacklers at the HBCU level, man. And I want to ask you, I mean, how important is being that physical type of how important is tackling to you? You know, how seriously do you take it, and how much you work on it?
Man, tackling is definitely very important. Like I pride myself in my tackling. I pride myself in being a solo tackler. I mean, anybody can gang tackle, but I pride myself in being a solo tackler because as a safety, I'm the last line of defense. If that man gets past me, then he off the TD. Unless one of my other boys they hustling together, but I'm the last line of defense. So it's very important for me to get that tackle.
That's right. You can see it. You can see it all over the tape, man. And I guess that leads me to my next question. You kind of brought it up there, but what was that competition like? I mean, to me, I mean, Division II Fayetteville State. I mean, you guys had to me one of the most impressive defensive backfields, and I think that's showing up in this draft process for you and for Williams. I mean, what was that room like competing with those guys? How did y'all make each other better? I mean, did you push each other?
Man, it was fun, man. Coming with having those group of guys in the defensive backfield, it was fun. Having Josh, man, we always talk smack to each other. You know what I'm saying? We always got it in after practice. You know what I'm saying? Getting the jug machine, just getting it in, working on our footwork, working on film study together. It was just nice having those group of guys because they was real professionals at a young age. We was all real professionals, and there's some more guys back there that have another year that
That's right.
they're gonna be coming out.
But I see that. I can definitely see that. So I got to ask you. I mean, I'm wrapping up all my questions at once. But what just like I ask everybody. I mean, who you training with? I mean, what are you working on to get better? I mean, what you focusing on and who you with right now?
Right now I'm training in Charlotte. Right now I'm in Charlotte. I'm training over here at Velocity Sports. With Jed, he's our speed trainer. And my DB coach is Captain Munderland. He's a retired football player that played for the Panthers. So I'm doing some work in with both. Mobile, Alabama.
Yeah.
I mean, to cut you off. Go ahead.
But yeah, just been working on my footwork with Cap. You know what I'm saying? He's been good with me just every day, grinding, working on my hips, working on my break, getting my brakes crispy. Jed, we working on my 40, my starts. You know what I'm saying? And I'm ready to put up some times on my pro day.
That's right. When is that pro day?
I want to the 30th of this month at A&T.
Good luck with that. And
yes,
appreciate you doing this, man.
Thank you.
Coach Grove, you got
anything?
anything?
Hey, Della Rosa, we appreciate Go ahead.
It's on you, Coach.
Yeah, Del Rosa, appreciate you coming on, bro.
Thank you so much for having me.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yep.
sir.
Got a 2-part question. I'm gonna stick with the football side. All right. Defensively, I mean, coming in when you're on the field and you're down and somebody needs to make a play. All right. Somebody needs to play. Is your personality to dig down within yourself, knowing you got to make a play, and people dependent on you to make the play? You're the guy that kind of corrals everybody, and then you got to do something special on your own. What's your thought process when the game's on the line and a play has to be made for you to win? What's that process?
To be honest, I try to get all my guys to try to make the play, but deep down in myself, I feel like I'm the guy that's going to try to make that play. So I'm trying to motivate others to make that play, but at the end of the day, I'm competing. So at the end of the day, I want to make that play.
All right. Yeah, I knew the defensive guy would say that. So let's go back to what I like to cover with all of you guys since we had an inaugural event. What was the opportunity like when you received the invitation? Those talks around getting you into Selma, and what was your thought process? How'd you feel? And then the second part of that one would be when you walked in the door through measurements, and there were 16 teams on the ground, including the XFL. What was going through your mind? What was your process? How did you feel?
Man, it was amazing. I was just grateful for the opportunity because after the season was over, I didn't know what was next, and you guys hit me up with the invitation. And I immediately told my mother, and then I talked to a couple of my teammates and stuff like that because y'all invited a couple of my teammates as well. But we was all just grateful for the opportunity because we didn't know what was next, and we was just taking it as a way of God showing us that this is our path. You know what I'm saying? You gotta make the best of it, no matter where you go. You know what I'm saying? And I just love the event. I want to thank you guys again because I've always been thanking y'all, but I just want to thank y'all again for having that event, man. Because I was just being around that environment, being around the other guys from different schools, and just competing and just talking to those scouts and meeting other coaches as well, just getting knowledge from them. It was just a blessing. Walking in and getting those measurements that day one, man, it was crazy because I know for a fact I put in the work and I know my body looks apart. So I was heading in there confident, you know what I'm saying, knowing that I was going. I passed the eye test, you know what I'm saying. So yeah, it was a definitely awesome moment.
Yeah. All right, now one more, and I'll get out of here. This is a scenario. You drafted, you walk into the locker room or whatever NFL team, and the locker room's empty. So you got the guy that's cleaning up the locker room, and that you don't know him, you've never seen him before. He asked you, what do you think you can bring to this locker room? What would your answer be?
If I go into this locker room, I want to say energy, but that's gonna be the typical answer.
Yeah, just whatever flows out, bro. Just whatever flows.
Definitely that energy, man. Because like I said, outside of football, I'm a quiet guy. But when I'm in that environment, I express myself. I'm able to. People get to see a different side of Elvin, and I'm definitely that energetic guy that's gonna bring that woo. Like, so yeah, definitely that energy.
No doubt about it.
All right, we appreciate you, man.
I know what I can say, Coach, to that is that, and like we talked about this kid many times, and like I said in the beginning, how he came through the door, and I think that rubs off on other people, man. So just whatever that energy is, that's the energy that you need to keep as you move forward in your journey, man. And you just stay yourself, and we're gonna be asking you for some tickets here pretty soon, man.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I'm gonna send them to you.
That's right. Right. So we appreciate you doing this. Best of luck to you.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Elvin. Yeah, I mean, shoot, I'm excited to see Elvin play. I mean, you don't see many hard-hitting defensive backs anymore, and his tape was electric, honestly. And I hadn't heard the term. I thought my dad was the only one that used the term "wulick." It's good to see someone our age using that term. So, and now to complete our trifecta of guests, we have sort of like an old fashioned, like a throwback type of back, a good old power back in Kingston Davis coming up on our podcast. And Kingston's a man who, just great ability as a back, great power back, hits holes quickly. And Kingston, we're excited to have you on. Thanks for coming on.
A pleasure to be here.
Thank you again. So beginning with my question, of course, you played your last year at Miles College, and the last player to play for Miles College was Ed McCall in 1968, who played a single game for the Cincinnati Bengals. Is that something that you think of, or is that something that motivates you to sort of like break this, or I guess create a new trend in NFL players for Miles College?
I didn't even know that. I learn something new every day, but definitely. I mean, that would be great. It'd be an honor to represent Miles College and in the league and to handle things like that way. So it'd definitely be a good thing.
I apologize for the nerdy fact. I mean, that's always a part of Jackson and I's podcast, just some sort of nerdy fact. But also, too, I guess one more question I have for you is you being a bigger back, is there a back either nowadays or in the past that you emulate with your style of play?
I really take a lot of things from different backs that I watch, and I try to take the good and kind of form it to my own game. For example, like I like watching Alvin Kamara and the way his balance is and the way that he bounce off of tackles and things like that. And I'll work on those things and try to emulate it and add it to my game. And Ezekiel Elliott, I watch him a lot, and the way that he attacks holes and his patience. And I like to pick different things that guys do really well and try to form into my game. But definitely, I watch Ezekiel Elliott, Alvin Kamara. I love watching Donovan Taylor, Derrick Henry. But I'm not 6'2", 6'3", and as big as him, but he has his own unique type of running style. But I definitely like watching those guys and picking different things and trying to form it to my own game.
Absolutely. You can't go wrong with any of those backs too. And I guess with that combination of backs, you'd be unstoppable. I mean, with all those styles of play. So I'm gonna kick it to my experts here. Again, we're gonna start with Coach Grove. We're gonna stake back around. Coach Grove, what do you have to ask Kingston?
Hey, how you doing, Keith?
How you doing? How you doing?
Yeah, Coach Grove. We got to talk for a bit at midfield. I guess my question, like for all of you guys, was first question would be around the opportunity. I mean, what do you think being able, even though you didn't play, being able to come in, do the interviews and the platform that was set that you were able to walk into in Selma? What was your thoughts on that entire process while you were there?
It was a great opportunity. Really, I'm just being, I'm grateful, blessed and honored to be a part of, the first HBCU All-Star game that you guys hosted. And anytime that you can get an opportunity to get in front of some scouts and get around, great people, it's always a good thing. And it's always, a blessing, really. The environment was great. Just sitting there talking to all those scouts and everything like that, and being out there with the guys, and it was a great environment. It's just great to be a part of.
Right. I guess the second part of that one, we talked for quite a bit, and because we share this Mobile tie, your pops and all that stuff, where if you had to give some advice to incoming freshmen, college freshmen, based on all the challenges and in your journey, on mental toughness, what would be something short, some words you would pass to an individual that coming in as a freshman had challenges similar to yours?
I would say, just remain focused. That's really the best thing that you can do, in your journey with going into whatever you're going into. There will always be obstacles and there will always be, distractions. It's really just, understanding what your goals are. Say, write it down, make it plain, and really understand what you're there for, and try to stay focused on your goals each and every day that you wake up. Each and every day is an opportunity. So, as long as the goals are clear, and as long as that what you're called to do and what you're willing, what you have to do, just staying focused is really just the basics and the biggest part of being where you want to be and achieving your goals.
Yeah, and I'll credit you, and I'm on the Marine Corps side of this, on the mental toughness side, the athletic side, the coaching side, the scouting side. I will credit you, because the 30 minutes I spent on the field with you, we talked and you explained your story, and I was able to hear the growth, and we talked about that. So I would tell you, just continue to grow when it comes to that mental toughness piece.
Yes, sir. That's all I can do. Yes, sir.
Yeah. I'm good.
I'll go next here, Coach. Appreciate you coming on and doing this for us, Kingston. We, as a former college running back, former college fullback, I'm gonna say, I'm always pulling for the running backs, and I really love your style of play, man. And my first question to you would be going into Miles College. For you, and from the film that I've been able to watch, for you to go in and do what you did in a shorter period of time at Miles College shows that you were ready to go in and make an impact like right away. So what was your mindset when you walked on that campus and hey, I'm trying to play in the league? What was your mindset going in there to get those teammates to follow, and also to make that impact that you made?
It really just goes back to what I mentioned about focusing on what you need to handle, and I have my goals, and right now my mindset is I'm going to achieve my goals no matter what it takes. And really just when I got there, it's just understanding that, okay, I'm here for a reason. I can't let anything distract me of what I'm here for, and really just trying to help the guys and their journey as well. And I always want to be the type of guy to lead by example, instead of just talking about it. So really just get in there and really just handling my business. That's all I can do. Control what I can control, and lead in the right way.
Absolutely, you did that at 100 miles an hour. There's no doubt about that. So, I guess my next question to you would be: as again, you just like the other two guys that we talked to, a lot of buzz, man, starting to happen. Right as we were starting to meet you. There was a lot of people talking about you. When the scouts were coming in, I'm just gonna tell you, man, I had three of the scouts asking me immediately from the time they walked in the door, is Kingston Davis coming down? You know what I mean? So there's a lot of word, and then when you think about it, just like again with the other two kids, you ended up being one of only 38, 39 guys that got into that HBCU combine. So that kind of tells you what those scouts are thinking, because those scouts were asking to see certain people at that combine. So when you took off down that way, did you recognize the importance of being one of that limited of a number, and what were you trying to show people when you got down there?
I didn't really think about it in that way. I really was just just thankful, just being a part of that and being selected for that. But really just showing the scouts that what I can do, my measurables and everything like that, and just really just trying to show them, let them get a feel for me, and with the conversations and interviews that we had, and basically putting numbers down on the paper, and showing them I can do certain things, catching the ball at the backfield and things of that nature.
That's
and
right.
Like I said again, I was blessed and honored just to be at that event, and thankful.
100%. And you mentioned catching the ball out of the backfield. I'm gonna tell you, I from watching your film, man. You do a lot of things well, man. You catching the ball out of the backfield. You can even chip and pick up blocks off the edge. I believe that your strongest point is taking carries and a lot of volume carries in between the tackles. So, I mean, I got to ask you, man, what of all those things that you do well, what is it that you enjoy the most about playing the running back position, and what do you think you do best?
Um, well, I think the running back position is very versatile. So there's a lot of things that it's required of you to do, and I think it's an overlooked position for sure. But the amount of things that the running back position does, got to block and got to run, got to catch. We do it all except for on the football, but sometimes we can. But I think that for the most part, everything that a running back does is what am I trying to say? It's very important. Being versatile. So I pride myself really in trying to be an all-around back. I want to be able to do everything, and I strive myself to do everything. I think my strong suit is being patient, with runs, allowing my blockers to set blocks, and learned a lot over the years of different running back coaches, and the importance of really setting your blocks up for your linemen by your path, going to the line of scrimmage and everything like that. But being patient, I like to do that. I pride myself off of that, and that goes back to watching a lot of Ezekiel Elliott film. He's very patient, and it works out that way. So that aspect of it, and also catching the ball off the backfield, I think that's very important for a running back to be able to do. So, like I said, I work on all these things to put the complete package together.
That's right. I mean, tell me a little bit about, like I'm asking everybody, but tell me a little bit about who you're training with now, what you're working on.
I train down at Sanders Fit Performance Centers down there in Dallas, downtown Dallas. So, I mean, we get it in. I mean, we work on everything. We do strength training. We get on the field. We do drills. We do mobility. We also do Pilates. We got everything set up where, we're working on the full thing. So there's nothing short of doing things that we need to do in aspects of everything.
That's right. That's all I got for the moment, man. You got a big future in front of you, Kingston. I mean, keep on that grind, and we definitely appreciate you doing this for us before Jackson jumps in there.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you.
Yep.
Kingston, first of all, thanks so much for coming on. I sure appreciate you coming on. I know it's been a pleasure already, just getting to know you a little bit better. Man, you mentioned a little bit earlier about, hey, you may not have the size of Derrick Henry, but who does, right? Some of these backs that you do have the size of, at least on the college site, it looks like you're listed right around 6 flat, 225 is right about there, right around there, still correct?
Yeah, around 230.
Gotcha. Okay. Nice. So I was looking at some of these backs right here. Leonard Fournette, 6 flat, 228. Jonathan Taylor, 5'10", 227. Nick Chubb, 5'11", 227. Joe Mixon, 6'1", 220. I mean, man, you have found this sweet spot of right height and weight. And it's right there, man, with your combination of talent and size, man, anything's possible in this league for sure. Another thing I wanted to mention to you that you just mentioned about patience, right? Golly. I mean, I was watching some of your tape and man, it reminds me a little bit of Breece Hall from this year, where you're just very, very patient. You mentioned Ezekiel Elliott. Are there any other backs that you like really take patience from? Because that's something that's maybe not as common as it should be in the league with a lot of backs. And man, that's definitely a strong suit of yours.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, I watched some Joe Mixon tape, and really just I watched Nick Chubb too. But there's different styles of running that they do. But as far as like, patience and things like that nature, like I said, I watch a lot of Ezekiel. I mean, I watch all the way back to when he was freshman in college, Ezekiel Elliott. So I've really studied his game to a T, really. And that's where I get my most of my influence for, being a patient runner. But, watching all types of backs, I put on the games and really just study and analyze how they run football. And there's a lot of good backs in the league that, they do things, they have different running styles and stuff and things of that nature. But it's good to take all of that in and kind of like figure out, what can I do? What can I change in my game to mimic or to do things to a similar nature so I can have the best results for myself. Just studying from everybody, all the guys that's already in the league and doing the things, even college level, like you said, there's a lot of good backs out there in college level today. And I feel like I can't be, one of those guys that's, not really studying and anybody. I mean, anybody that's playing football, it's an opportunity to learn something from college and professional level. So,
Kingston, another thing I wanted to ask you about is I absolutely love that in your highlight tape you're including pass protection reps, because as a running back in the league, you have to be able to pass protect. Man, you mentioned Ezekiel Elliott a few times already. Obviously, Zeke is one of the best there is in the league as far as pass protection. What are some maybe other backs, other pointers that, hey, you really have learned a lot from? Because, man, there's some defensive linemen that are coming up through the B gap, A gap sometimes, and you're holding them off on your own. You're not trying to run them into another lineman. You're just standing right there and planting your feet and blocking. What are some guys you take that from?
Frank Gore. He was a great pass protection guy. Really, when I was a freshman, I remember at Michigan, they put on some Frank Gore tape for pass protection. It really stuck with me, and really understood as I got older, understanding that, for one, especially in the league, if you can't block, then you can't be on the field. You have to be able to block, and really just honing in on, your blocking techniques and understanding, this is a thing. Blocking is an attitude, and it has to be done. So I take a lot of techniques and I watch Frank Gore and the way that he blocks and he takes on blocks and things of that nature to use it for my game. So really just I watched a lot of his tape for helping me with getting better at blocking.
And one other thing with blocking, unless you're, a first round pick in this draft, everyone is going to be playing special teams. If you're a rookie, you're doing it on special teams too. That's arguably the most important thing you can do on special teams is block, because that's when the game changing plays happens. When blocks don't happen, you never want to be the reason for that. And I'm not worried about that at all with you, man. You do an amazing job at that. So, man, Kingston, it's been a pleasure talking with you. Pleasure watching a lot of your tape and stuff. Your highlights are amazing. I can't wait to see you at the next level.
I appreciate it. It was a pleasure being on.
We appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, bro.
Yes,
Thanks,
sir.
Kingston.
Y'all have a good one.
You too.
You too.
Yep.
All right, with that, all of our guests are through. Man, wow, just 3 great guests back to back to back. Talk about a triple header. So I guess we really ran. We're at 48 minutes right now, so I guess we'll close this discussion with both pro fits and comparisons, beginning with Jett Duffey. And people love, including myself, to make quarterback comparisons to the pros. My comparison for Jett Duffey, I had a couple guys in mind in both the NFL and one CFL guy. In the NFL, I think about a guy that came from a wide open offense that can get out of the pocket a little bit. I see shades of Gardner Minshew in Jett Duffey. I want to know your guys' comparisons and thoughts. And then in the CFL, I'm going to throw a name that you guys probably have not thought of unless you guys watch the CFL, heck, even once or twice this summer. Vernon Adams. Vernon Adams is doing really great out there for the Montreal Alouettes. And if you remember him in college, just really in a wide open Oregon offense, able to get out of the pocket, make plays, spread them out. So what are your guys' comparisons for Jett Duffey? And where do you guys think his best fits are in the NFL?
Coach, quarterback guy.
Jackson, you can go first.
Absolutely, Coach. So one thing, I don't know if this is as much as a comparison. It's just a thing that I think a team will give them a chance based off of this, right? So really, at the quarterback position, or really at anything, no such thing as a sure thing, especially a quarterback, though, right? Yes, occasionally the Andrew Lucks, the Trevor Lawrences that come around where it's a sure thing. I think the philosophy for a lot of teams, it's one of two. It's either you're drafting off of the production that you've seen their ceiling. Think of Mitch Trubisky coming out of North Carolina. Think of Mac Jones coming out of Alabama last year. Or you've probably seen their ceiling already, but you like enough what you see to think that they can be a leader. And then there's guys that you draft based off of their ceiling, right? There's Patrick Mahomes, which the scouting reports were like terrible on Mahomes coming out of college. But a lot of guys recognize their ceiling. There's guys a little bit this year. There's shades of that with Malik, where, I mean, Malik has put on plenty of good tape. Don't get me wrong. But a lot of guys are, because of his ceiling, that's what's going to get Jett Duffey a chance at the next level, right? Is his ceiling, because it's so high. He's so athletic and he's so talented, especially when the ball is in his hands and he's scrambling. Man, someone's going to give him a chance. And I'm tempted to go with just like, Kyler Murray or someone like that, because he's such a good player and he hits in that air raid scheme so easily because he's been in it as long as he's been playing football. So, I'm sure there's a better comparison out there, but that's all I can think of. Is with Kyler, we saw his ceiling and knew it could probably get higher. But with Jett, I think we're only scratching the surface of what Jett can do. I can't wait to see what he does.
Absolutely, I can see where you're going with that, 100%, Jackson. I mean, for me, I go a little bit unconventional. I mean, not necessarily comparing him to starting guys in the league right now, but I would compare him very favorably to P.J. Walker. P.J. Walker's a guy that came out of Temple. I think he was an undrafted guy around 2017, 2018. But P.J. Walker's now, been a pro, for 5-6 years now. I mean, we're working on that number. So I think, pretty much same type of size. I mean, really heady guy in the pocket. Not necessarily a true runaround guy, but a guy who can run when he needs to run and move the chains and that sort of thing. So I mean, but I really like his steady headedness. I mean, I like the fact that he's an intelligent kid. I think he does bring in his teammates around him, and I just think this is a guy that once he gets that opportunity, much like PJ Walker, is going to be a guy who's going to be a pro for a while, and then it just depends on what team he's with. I mean, what kind of opportunities come, down the road. Can he get on the field can he develop into a starter? But this is a guy who's one of the best, prospects, I think, to be like a guy who kind of comes under the radar and then has himself a nice decently long football career. But I do like that comparison to Vernon Adams too there, Omar. That was not a bad comparison at all.
Thank you. I mean, shoot, PJ Walker, man, don't get me started. I mean, I love PJ Walker. Been on the PJ Walker train even this year. When I'm sorry to cut you off, Coach Grove. I'll toss you in a second. But yeah, when they signed Cam Newton, like I was upset because you got PJ Walker, a guy who one of the better backups in the league. Definitely a guy who deserved a shot. And as far as I'm concerned, he's undefeated as a starter. But yeah, I love the PJ Walker comparison too. You think about it, wide open offense, air raid for Jett Duffey, run and shoot under June Jones for PJ Walker in the XFL. So love that comparison too, Coach. Now to you, Coach Grove. Who's your comparison for Jett Duffey and I guess landing spot if you have one for him?
I probably don't have a landing spot for him, but he did pretty good with the Russell Wilson comparison. And I'm gonna go old school. If you blend a Russell Wilson with a Doug Flutie, out of all people, but the guy's ability to extend the play, and defenses know that he can move and get out of it and extend the play when he has to, but he'll sit in the pocket. I think people with the Kyler Murrays of the world, they understand that everybody may not have this measurable. They have these attributes and they can lead teams. So I think a merge of those two people, if you threw a Doug Flutie, who's an underdog person, and you threw him in there with that mix with Russell Wilson. I think he was pretty close on that, and that's kind of off the wall, but that's why we'll put him. I mean, no different than any of the guys who can extend the play, but the guy sit in the pocket and he'll take a lick, but you got to leave somebody on him because he can get out and run.
Don't forget, Jett was the Mr. Texas Football Player of the Year coming out of high school, right? So,
correct.
Yeah, so much talent, right? So it is, like I said, I think his ceiling's crazy high. Hopefully, if he can just get on the field and show what he's made of, I have no doubts with him. I mean, he'll be great.
That's right. Agreed.
Yeah. So moving on to our next guy, Elvin De La Rosa. In terms of defensive backs, we know that Elvin loves to hit. So first defensive back that comes to mind for me as a Niners fan. Not gonna say Ronnie Lott, but I'm gonna say Dante Whitner. More my time. Just a safety loves to just comes downhill. He's in the backfield a lot. So I see a Dante Whitner comparison. He's got good size for defensive back, potentially even like running at first a nickel when he first breaks on the field, past special teams or breaks on the field on defense. I can see him being a nickel back in third down situations. But yeah, Dante Whitner is my comparison for him. I don't know if I have a landing spot because I'm not really sure about defensive back holes for each team, but that's just my comparison right there.
Well,
I like that. Go ahead, Coach. I was just saying I like that.
First show, guys.
We do this all the time. Go ahead, Coach.
I'll wait.
All right. The Omar, who was your guy again?
I had
Dante. Who was your guy?
Dante Whitner, Dante Hittner to some people.
The first one, your first choice. Who was he? The comparison when you made
Ronnie Lott. I don't know if that's going too high though.
No, you're not going too high. But the Lotts and the Atwaters, and the fact that the kid doesn't mind coming down like a linebacker, and he can make his tackles in space, and he's got a skill set where he can cover people too as a safety. You know what I mean? So those people, when you said Ronnie Lott and Atwater come to mind. You know what I mean? So he's gonna come and deliver a blow, and they're gonna have to think about it. And they can run him on a lot of stunts. You know what I mean? The kid is that kid is off the chart. You know what I mean? I'm saying he's off the chart, and for him to fly under the radar for so long is crazy. You know what I mean? So I'm glad he had the opportunity to come down, but he put his work in before he got to us.
Absolutely. My quick comparison on him would be Buda Baker. I mean, I think he's size-wise falls into that same kind of category, and I think, just versatility. I mean, this kid, he can play around the line of scrimmage. He can do a lot of things when it comes to, nickel packages and different things. I mean, this is a pretty versatile guy. I mean, he can go free safety. He can get a little bit on the corner. I mean, I think this is a guy that compares very favorably to a Buda Baker, and this would be one of those kids that, you get him a chance and he makes his way on a special teams unit and then develops into a really good professional football player. So I'm looking for a lot out of Elvin De La Rosa, no doubt about it.
The comparison I had in mind for him was DJ Swearinger, where you would see a lot of the aggressiveness, maybe slightly below the Power 5 speed that you usually see, that a lot of corners. I mean, if you watch the combine, you know how fast these guys are flying now at corner and defensive backs in general. But hey, slightly below average speed, but aggressiveness and toughness really accounts to where Swearinger had a very successful career in the NFL. And I can definitely see some similarities. One thing that I was very impressed with De La Rosa is his just how well he sorts through traffic, right? And how he kind of sorts through the trash. I remember, just this past week, one drill at the combine where they're talking about, picking up your feet and all that. And it's how well can you sort through traffic while keeping your eyes up. Man, he keeps his eyes right as like a laser in the backfield where he's trying to go. It can find where to navigate, especially when he's lined up at nickel or something like that, where it's going to be a little bit harder to sort through and he does an excellent job of that. So, man, I'm looking forward to seeing him. And I mean, you can tell. I'm sure Coach Grove and Williams, you saw this just right off the gate, just how he's a film junkie. You can tell. It's super easy to tell because I mean he knows right where the ball is going. I think sometimes before the back even knew the ball was coming to him. So.
Right, absolutely correct.
And now finally for our last guest, Kingston Davis. We all love a good old power back. For me, Jackson mentioned so many people, so many running backs with similar physique. The back that stands out to me is Carlos Hyde, in my opinion, just a back that has taken just a great workload, like a big workload, and flown under the radar throughout his career. I can see Kingston sort of sneaking on a team during a lean year, possibly this year, finding the field in a rebuilding effort. I mean, which it seems like Carlos Hyde has been in a perpetual rebuilding effort. It's sad to say. First off with my Niners, then with the Browns, now with the Jaguars. I got a feel for the guy. But, I mean, I can see Kingston Davis sort of filling that same role and just becoming a workhorse for a team in a rebuilding process and, helping that team back up. But, I mean, you really can't go wrong with any comparison of the back of similar size with Kingston Davis.
Yeah, I guess I'll jump in that next one. Kingston, I like that comparison. Omar's got some pretty good comparisons here tonight, man.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, but I'm gonna go with Josh Jacobs on this one. I mean, I think Kingston he's a volume carry guy, man. I mean, the guy, he's one of those old school throwback guys. I mean, not only is he a power back, but this is a guy who the more carries he gets, the more effective that he can be. And so I really, really think that this is a guy he is going to surprise. Somebody gets this kid in the camp, however they get him in camp, whether they draft him, whether they bring him as an undrafted free agent, however they get this kid into camp. This is a pro football player, man. I mean, this is a pro running back. There's no doubt about this. And I think that for a guy like that, just has to get into the right system that's not going to ask him to do things that don't necessarily fit his game. But I'm telling you, to me, Josh Jacobs would be the comparison as a guy that can still hit a home run if he needs to hit a home run if the opportunity is there. But I'm telling you, this is one of those kids that, the carries just keep coming and he just keeps getting better. And I think we're gonna be really proud to see what all three of these kids do. But Kingston's gonna be just fine at the NFL level.
Yeah, and on him, I liking what he was saying about Fournette. I would put him there. The kid is patient and he understands the kinetics and what the schemes are when it comes to blocking and allowing that stuff to materialize. But he will run over you. You know what I mean? He can catch it out of the backfield, but he's not afraid of contact. You know what I mean? So, and Fournette got lost for a little while in the league, and I would say this kid got lost for a while in college. But like Coach said, whoever picks him up, they're gonna see he's a bruiser for sure, but he's smart enough to know what makes running backs money, right? So for him to know that you take a pinch here, you take a pinch there, you take a pinch here, and you try to master what people are already doing instead of recreating the wheel. So I think the kid's gonna be fine.
Coach Williams, you stole my point with that, where I noticed that too, where, hey, the more touches he gets, the more productive he is. I looked at kind of some of his stats. I was like, it really seems like that is truly the case with him. I actually charted it out, just, simple Excel sheet of, yes, his yards per carry and by the number of carries, man, it is easily a positive correlation where the more he gets the ball, the more productive is going to be, which is not something you always see in backs. In fact, his best game with yards per carry is just under 8. I think it's 7.8. That was by about 5 carries. The most carries he had was his best game where he had the most yards per carry. So definitely an interesting point that I noticed there too. As far as a comparison, I'm going to go with Nick Chubb because he's got one, like I already mentioned, a similar size to Chubb and a similar physique. He's a bruiser, like you said, Coach Grove, but he's not like overly big like Derrick Henry. And he's a guy who can catch the ball out of the backfield. And Omar, I say this every week, you can't catch, you can't play in the league as a running back, right? He can catch the ball, but he's just not going to be lining up in the slot or something like that. You certainly don't see that with Chubb either. So I'm kind of putting that comparison out there. So certainly, I think catching the ball out of the backfield a little bit more is something that he'll work on, and I'm sure he's working on up there in Dallas. And man, with his gosh, he's so patient. Like I thought the first Brees Hall and Le'Veon Bell were the first two that came to mind when I saw like he's like just walks up to the line, and then he also has the acceleration in the burst to go and go through the hole right there to when he sees it and when it becomes available. So, but gosh, pass protecting. Catching the ball out of the backfield and patience and burst. I mean, you can't go wrong with that as a running back, right? So certainly excited to where he's excited to see where he goes to the next level. With Kingston and with Elvin, two positions that you need a lot on special teams is running backs and defensive backs. That's in the NFL, it's only a 53-man roster, right? You make your money off of special teams unless you're a starter, and even in some cases still on special teams. Both of these guys can be special teams aces, and come preseason, those are the most important plays of the game, right? Is all special teams. That's how, so many guys have gotten their start. That's where Austin Eckler got his start. That's where Terrell Davis got his start. I can see, both of these guys making their money on special teams and eventually getting on the field at their respective college positions and just, going from there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think for Kingston, I'll take it back to I think the movie's Love and Basketball. They end up overseas, and the girl says, "Never lose your position to a rookie. Somebody's gonna get caught slipping with Kingston. Somebody's gonna get caught slipping."
Love the pop culture reference, Coach Grove. I gotta say, special people play special teams. I mean, I got a bonus comparison too. Like, I mean, we've talked to, and Coach Williams, Coach Grove, I guess in the fall too. Like, it's just. The HBCU Pigskin Showdown wasn't just for NFL scouting; it was for XFL guys that might break in like the indoor football league too. And like thinking about the XFL and USFL, I guess the spring football scene. I mean, like what you guys have been saying about Kingston Davis getting stronger as the game goes on. Like I think about Trent Richardson for the Birmingham Iron. I've told Jackson about how easy to like the Birmingham Iron were in the AAF in 2019 with Trent Richardson because his team, made the name on defense. They won ugly. I can see a guy like Kingston Davis, if he works his way to the starting role, being a guy like that. Maybe at least first for a USFL team, but being that workhorse for a team that wins ugly is kind of blue collar, so just had to throw it back to the AAF. Some fun times, back in 2019, but I think with that, I don't have anything else to add. Anyone? No.
No, we're a little bit over our time tonight. It's the first show. I think we started out really with 3 really awesome guests tonight. I think as we move through each week, I think people are going to see some really, really good HBCU football prospects here as we head to the NFL draft. So we'll keep bringing them, and we'll keep ironing out our kinks as we go. But we appreciate all of you, and I'm excited for us to keep on moving.
Yeah. Thank y'all, man. We appreciate y'all coming on. We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right, so I guess that seals it. Until next time, next Thursday, same bat time, same bat channel, 8 Central, 9 Eastern. And until next time, peace, love, and soul, everyone.
See you next week, guys.
Later, bro.